welcome back to Spanky's, and today we are going to cut out the piece that goes into the door jamb of the Porsche. This would be considered the B pillar, not pillar, but the door jamb that would go right underneath the B pillar. So I've got my little reciprocating aerosol, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and use. I'm not going to try to cut out the spot welds right yet. I'm just going to cut out the panel itself, and then we'll come back and we'll cut out the lip for the spot welds on the interior and the quarter panel part. Alright, so I got that out. Let's take a look at it and let's see how bad it is. It's got so much undercoating underneath it. And you can see once that undercoating breaks, the moisture and the water gets in behind that, and it just acts like sticking something down inside of a plastic bag. It just rusts from the inside out, and that's what happens to a lot of these Porsches. So we're just going to take one bite at a time and get this done. But this has got the VIN number on it that I needed, the sticker right there. And now you can see the back side of it where the undercoating goes away and it starts to rust when the tire throws water up on it. Hopefully the whole entire car is not like this, and I've checked most of it out, and it's really only rusty in the common rusted areas. So we're going to save this old girl, shift some gears in it real soon. Take you guys in here a little closer and show you what it looks like. Now I had to leave this little piece in right here. It's got a tube hooked to it where the hood release is to get into the engine compartment, and I left it attached down on the rocker so that we'll know where everything needs to go. I pulled the rubber back, but if I can save it, I'm going to save it. This is a budget project. This isn't a let's see how much money we can spend project. So now what I need to do is get the rest of this panel, the rest of the piece that we just cut out, off. And there's a pinch weld here, and then there's one that runs along this seam right here that we took the paint off of. So that's the next step. We'll get that done, and we'll move on to the next one, and we'll start putting this in. We're going to replace the B-pillar jamb and where the door actually comes back and latches. I got the old one cut out, but we've got some rust repair right here that I've got to fix, and then I've got a little bracket that goes right here that I've got to fix. The bottom of the rocker I'll get to when I get it up in the air, but everything else is super solid. It's dirty, but it's super solid. So the water was slung back here and got in this little jam area where it meets the body, and after that happened, the water just set in there, ran down here. It rusted out this piece along this seam right here, and then it rusted all that down there in the bottom of the rocker. So that's pretty typical. That's why somebody cut this one out of a Porsche. It's almost brand new looking, but it was already in a Porsche, and it's got some primer and stuff on it. But I'm going to weld up all the holes that they're not all the way through. I'm going to weld all of these up, grind it all back down smooth, and then get it to where it fits inside here. But today's goal is to find the spot welds, punch them, drill them, and remove the back piece right here from the original part. So that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll test fit that. All right, so I can only find a few of the spot welds. We're going to punch them. And as we find more, as we start to pull this off, it'll show me where some more are at. And also another trick that I like to use is, you can see I sprayed the layout down. Get a flat file and go down through here. Anytime you're trying to find a spot weld, and it's just like guide coat when you're trying to find a dent. Some of these are very, very faint, meaning the spot welder may not have penetrated hard enough to leave a dimple. You may be wondering why I'm not replacing the whole quarter. Well, the whole quarter's not rusted. It's $1,000. This piece right here, the new piece, only cost me, I think, 55 bucks plus shipping. A new Porsche piece, and this is a Porsche piece, but a brand spanking new Porsche piece was, let's say, $250 or more. So I saved a couple hundred there, and the only part of this quarter that has any rust in it whatsoever is where that water came down, got into the rocker, and rolled back, and got just this little section right here. And I can make that. I got all the equipment, all the tools, and plenty of scrap metal. And I can make that little piece right there. And I'm replacing, you know, the flare. We're putting the SC flares on there, so most of this gets cut out anyway. So, I mean, I'm trying to leave it as much as original as I can, but that's not all of it. I'm trying to save money. So, a lot of you guys with deep pockets might be scratching your head, but the majority of you that like to do your own work and, you know, you understand. Let's start with that and let's see how far we get. All right, so before we can put the door jamb B-pillar panel in, we've got to fix the hole that is behind this paper. And what we've done, these little white dots right here are magnets, and I've got this, just a plain old white construction type paper laid out on here, and I'm just mapping out where I want to make a panel to cover the rust. Whether or not I need to make this whole piece or just make a section to weld in. Now it's solid as it can be up here and down here. All right, so I got the piece cut out. There's absolutely no rust up inside of here. It was only rusted out in the areas where all the panels came together and it held water. So I've put some blue pattern dye on it, and I'm gonna get this right here cut out where it fits a little bit better, and we're going to see if we can't save this piece right here. I believe we can. I've still got to get some weld-through primer to put on the back side of this, and I'm going to try to treat the inside of that cavity a little bit more, but we're going to try to save this piece right here. All right, so you saw me make the pattern out of paper. Now I've cut and shaped a piece of steel, same thickness as the factory metal, and I've got it fitting about 97% perfect for me. The next step, I've got to file the edges down. I will take it and put some profile on the back of the metal, clean it really well, and then I'll hit it with some weld-through primer. and then we'll start stitching it in. So most of this quarter is going to get cut out anyway for the fender flare that we're going to put on. So we're just going to make each piece as we get to it and save ourselves a lot of money and a lot of time and save this old Porsche. So let's go put some primer on this and then we'll take it to the next step. All right, so what I've got here is some Master Pro Weld Through Primer. Just going to hit this piece. I've already sanded the back of it. And what this is doing is going to allow us to weld this in, and the majority of this primer will stay on here after we weld it. Then the piece that we're actually repairing with this is open on the bottom, so I'll come in after everything's welded and coat the inside of the rocker and the inside of that piece with some rust proofing and some undercoating. All right, well, we're waiting on that piece to dry. I know I get a lot of feedback from a lot of guys. Why don't you buy a complete quarter? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Guys, I am trying to show the average Joe how to save some money, how to repair it with basic tools, and I'm not trying to overeducate it. Yes, it's a Porsche, and it's mine. So I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm not gonna sink $1 million into it because I wanna enjoy it, and I've got way too many other cars and projects to come. But it is going to get done right. So if you're looking at this one day and you're looking at buying this Porsche, I did it right. But I didn't replace every single piece out of a catalog. I hope you understand. But I'm still going to get those guys. I'm still going to get them. But I appreciate you watching. Okay, so I've got the first piece. Okay, we primed it on the back, weld through primer. We're gonna go ahead and put this in. Then I'm going to address this area right here. Cut that out, make a piece for that, weld that in, and then we're gonna put that brace that we made in for right here that goes over to the rocker. Then we're going to make sure that it lines up with the rocker, and then we're gonna cut this section out of the rocker. Then we've got to fix a small spot under the bottom of the rocker, just a very small spot, and we're going to go a little bit bigger with that. We're going to get that up on the lift, and at the same time, I'm going to remove the factory jack. I don't have a factory jack. I've got a scissor jack that came with this car. That's all I really need. The factory jack, it just looks messy. We're going to go ahead and fill in the rocker where the jack would go through. So that's going to be nice and neat. And we may even drop this down below so that it actually is hidden inside the rocker. I'm not sure how much of this hole you really need to adjust the suspension. So we're going to find out that and see if we can't get this below. Because you can see the dirt line right here of how much this actually shows. Only that much of it shows. So if we can eliminate 1/4 of an inch, that's going to really make that look nice. Let's see. All right, got it welded in, got the welds blended down. It's not my prettiest work, but I tell you what, it's hard to get up in here. It doesn't really show, but you can see that it's up inside the quarter. So with the quarter flappy. At least I can get in there a little ways, but it was hard to weld, hard to get in there. But we made a good solid repair. We're gonna be able to spray it from up underneath inside the cavity. The welds are all smooth and blended. We fixed this hole right here, put a piece of metal in there, and then I've blended all of these welds into where this new piece is gonna go in, the B-pillar. So that needs to fit flush up in there. I feel a knot or two right here. I'm gonna get the little belt sander and get up inside there like that and get that smoothed out. That'll give that a place to sit. And then we'll get this other piece on right here. Dress that up. I've got this primed on the back side, weld through primer, just like we did the other piece. And then this is gonna slide down right in here. And I punched some holes in it. I'm gonna try to get in there. You can see how hard it's gonna be, but I'm gonna try to get in there and weld this. Normally I would have probably tried to TIG this, but I can barely get in there with the MIG. All right, I'm gonna plug weld or spot weld this piece in. It's fitting up against the rocker on the inside well, so I can replace that piece of rocker, and this is gonna go right in place, and I'll be able to weld it in then. So, all right, let's see how this works. All right, so got that bracket welded in. I've run into a lot of lead all down through here where the B panel met this rocker. So I'm gonna have to get my little torch out, melt away the lead, and then see what kind of repair I need to make. I've got this bracket made, and it's brought over right here where we're gonna weld it in, where the original one was welded, to the inside of the rocker. Not really sure how they did that, but they probably did it similar to how I'm gonna do it. And then we'll put this piece right here in out of a 10. It's not gonna be seen, but I'm seeing it, you're seeing it, so I tried to do the best I could. This is the best I've got it fitting so far. If you think it looks sloppy, then you are correct. That's what you get into when you're using old parts and redoing old parts. There's nothing wrong with this quarter other than a dent that was here that they filled with lead and the rust that we're going to repair next. Right here, just a real small section at the bottom. Plus we're going to put the flares on. So most of this is going to get replaced, but I've got to use this quarter to place this part, the door jamb, in its right location. And this is the best I've got it fitting so far. This is a part out of a probably mid-80s 911 that was wrecked. They drilled it out. I bought it used. I've showed you that in another video. It's galvanized, and then they've hit it with the etch prime, which will all come off when we're ready. Anyway, this is where I'm going to weld it in, whether it's this video or not. That the door is shutting good, the striker's good, everything looks as it should. MIG a couple of spots, and then I'm gonna go ahead and TIG the rest of it up. So anyway, that's where we're at. Hey guys, been welding through this stuff, been grinding on some lead, been trying to weld over lead, not knowing it. The weld through primer, welding through that, my head's spinning. The room is full of smoke, and my wife is texting me that supper is ready. And I think it was my night to cook. Dang dominoes. Man, a little late for that. Hey, looks like I'm ready for a new Spanky sweatshirt, and I may go online tonight and buy me one. If you're looking for a cool sweatshirt, t-shirt, hat, hoodie, whatever you want, we got them. Spanky'sHotRods.com. You've been asking. It's been on there for 25 years, and we've got a contest going. If you've got a wore-out shirt like this, send me a picture. I'll send you a new one. If you're one of the lucky ones that gets picked. And I'm not picking them. That random selector is going to pick them. Get online, get you a t-shirt, support the channel. Keep watching. Thank you very much. Now get out in the garage and go build something. See you in the next episode.